My name is Tarun Shetty. Welcome to my YouTube page. Obviously, this isn't Petco's YouTube page, but I hope everyone's having a good day, or maybe this is the worst day of your life. I'm not going to judge you, but today I thought I would talk about writing, because I think this is a time and age where you can have absolutely no talent at all and be successful, and you can do whatever you want. I mean, there is an equalizer, and it's called the internet. And I'm going to talk about my writing experience, because I've been writing since I was a little kid and I love to write. And I wrote this book a few years ago. It's called Laughing in Hell, and I self-published it. I know writing for some people is very intimidating, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Everyone's got a unique life story behind them. For me personally, I'm like this Indian comedian from not to make this about race, but I mean, that's who I am. I'm from New Hampshire. I was in New York. I went through a lot of, craziness, circus. I went to Hollywood. I was like a YouTube guy for a minute. I was on like a web series. So everyone has like their own unique story, which you can write on paper, right? And for me, like, I've lived this life. It's boring to me because I have to see this guy every day in the mirror. But for somebody else, in the universe, like maybe Joe Schmo in Nebraska, he's like, dude, who is this dude? Like, that's fascinating. I've always wondered what it's like being a South Asian comedian who dresses up like a Bollywood star. Like, that's fascinating to me. So you never know what will appeal to your audience. So everyone's got a unique story, and I encourage you, if you have something, put it on paper. Like, start writing down on journals, notes, whatever. I mean, this book, it's like 134 pages. It's not like that long. Like, people have told me like they've read it in like a night. I mean, it's that good. But what's fascinating to me, a serious note, is that I just put what was truthful to me, right? I had no expectations. It's not like some work of art where it's like some I didn't go to I didn't get my creative writing degree at like Brown or something. I just was a guy who liked to write, and I started like just writing pages. And like one chapter turns into the next chapter, turns into the next chapter. And you hear all these stories, like you have to have training, you have to have a background, take classes at UCLA Extension, forget all that stuff. The greatest thing about writing is that nobody can tell you what to do, right? Like, I spent my years being a comedian. And the worst thing as a stand-up comic, or like an actor, I was an actor too, is there's always a gatekeeper telling you, right, what you can and can't do. It's the worst. There's a great analogy I like to use. It's like, if you want to work out at the gym, you have to go to the gym. But if the gym isn't open to you, then it's really hard to exercise. Writing, guess what? All you need is a pen and paper. This is all you need. Hey, look at this. Look at this. Look, a pen and paper. Look, I wrote cat on my notebook. I'm a writer. You just do that like 1,000 times. You can go self-publish it. You have a novel. You're good to go. So you're writing. You finally finish your book. You're like, now what do I do with it? Well, you can query an agent. That means you're going to reach out to an agent to help you find publication and distribution. Most of these agents will say no. I mean, I've worked on that side of the business. Unless you can bring money to the table, there's really no incentive for you to publish your book unless you have a built-in audience. But don't worry, there's a thing called self-publishing. Now, self-publishing is where you can publish your own stuff on the internet. And that's what I did. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to self-publish it myself. Selling the book, marketing. It's my first time, so I'm just going to make all the mistakes now and see what happens. I personally was overwhelmed. There's so many different types of self-publishing companies out there, right? So I found this company. It's called BookBaby. And BookBaby was like, hey, we can format your book, we can make a title page, we can edit your book for you, we can do everything for this, hefty fee. So what I did, I Googled how to do this, and I found that people recommended to find outside independent freelancers. So I found a girl to edit my book, which was great. I think that cost me like $500. And then I found a guy to make this cover, which is pretty cool. I think he did a great job. And he basically designed this for me for like $200, and I tipped him some extra money. So, you find these outside sources and you pull it all together. And then I hired BookBaby, and then I hired them to publish the book. And, it was good. I mean, BookBaby is reliable. I think it did come out to like over $1,000 when it was said and done, which I'm reading now is way too much money to spend on any self-published book, especially like when you don't have an audience. Because really, I don't think people care whether you have an audience or not, especially the self-publishing companies. They basically make their money, just making the work for you. I'm really happy with BookBaby. Whenever I have a problem, I call them up. They do charge a fee if you have like a mistake. And if you already have published your book and you go back to them and say, hey, I want to change it, they're going to like charge you something. So, do your due diligence. But I'm just saying that the self-publishing thing is great because look, you can have an idea and put it in a publication, in a matter of a few weeks, right? And you have like a book, like my life story is pretty much in this book, and it's cool to see that. You're probably wondering, how many books did I actually sell? Honestly, it wasn't some huge bestseller. Even though BookBaby distributes worldwide, like Barnes & Noble's, on their own site, BookBaby, on Amazon, Kindle Direct, whatever, the sales were not amazing because I'm not like a celebrity, right? So I don't really have like a huge following, but I did get a lot of traction off Facebook, like my own self-promotion, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I made a commercial, I made like a Google ad. I got a lot of buys off that stuff. So, there's a lot of proactive things that you can do. I did a few podcast interviews. I just feel like anybody can write. I come from the world of Hollywood. Everybody has a screenplay. It's almost annoying because you can have a screenplay. There's all these competitions out there. And it's so hard to, go A to Z from a screenplay. But writing a book is a completely different thing. It's a lot harder to organize your thoughts. And look, there's so many shitty books out there. I'm not saying my book's amazing, but I feel like writing a book will separate you from the pack. Not saying that should be your impetus to writing a book, but it's just something which you can stand by, you can be proud of. And when I put it on Facebook that I wrote a book, man, I got so much like positive reinforcement. Like, man, that's so great that you wrote a book. Congratulations. And I got people buying like 3 or 4 copies just to support me. No matter what happens, this has been the greatest thing that I've ever done like the past 5 years. I'm so proud of this book and that I was able to just finish it. So what happens next? Maybe you write your book, you self-publish, you're one and done. That's fine. That's the best thing about writing is there's no expectations. Like, I'm not Charles Dickens here. I can write 1 book. I can write 75 books. It doesn't matter. Like, nobody's judging you. So even if you just want to write a book for your own artistic merit to see like what you come out with, that's fine. But think of it like this. Everyone's got at least one unique story. The greatest thing about having a book is I don't need to be in some dumb conversations anymore, right? I'm like, hey, my name's Tarun Shetty, nice to meet you. Hey, let's not talk. You can read my book. Everything about me is in here. Have a nice life. And we're done. So think about everything I told you. Make your own decisions. Go buy a pen and paper and start writing. It's that easy. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching. Take care.